Good morning, everyone. This is Srikanth Rajan, and welcome back to the Stock Market Podcast from mpiinvest.com. So, last 2 days we could not do the podcast due to some unforeseen circumstances. So, we are back. Of course, 2 days of update left, and of course, need to look at what is expected in the market for today and tomorrow, because tomorrow is the expiry, the first expiry for September. So, talking about this week started off Monday with the big rally again. The rally on Friday, which culminated with a positive close on Friday, continued on Monday, and that was something really good. In fact, there was some sell-off in between, but then again it got recovered, and by end of day, markets just went above the day's high and closed positive. So that was on Monday, and if you look at yesterday, it was a similar thing, where again we saw a gap up opening, again we saw markets kind of consolidating and finally closing in the green. So end of the day, one thing that we need to notice at this point of time, the market is active with buyers. Now, one important thing to understand, who are these buyers? Because if you look at last 2 days, both the days FIs have actually sold in the market and DIs have actually bought. But then DIs have not net bought higher than the FIs selling. So yesterday also, if you see, the FIs have sold for almost 1,700 crores, while the DIs have bought for almost 1,000 crores. But then still that deficiency of 700 crores was taken over, and the markets have continued to be positive. So what does that mean? It simply means the retailers are back in power. So after recent news coming in the media about the markets going higher, the retailers have started coming back, especially the new retailers, I would say. And that's exactly why we could see the Nifty mid cap and small cap index actually doing amazingly well. In fact, they are hitting the record highs on a daily basis. So that has been a very big positive in the market at this point of time. So if you see, the weakness is still in the index heavyweights and not in the mid cap or small cap segment. So one important thing to noticing is Reliance or HDFC has not been doing great in terms of numbers on the market. But then of course IT sector has come into play at this point of time. So with US markets getting stronger, and also recently there was a PMI data which came up yesterday for India services PMI, which actually indicated that exports of services related IT stocks have actually, IT companies have gone up. So that was news that came just yesterday, but then IT has been positive for last 3 days. So simple thing, IT has always been in the oversold zone. We've been discussing that for quite some time. In fact, we have some good investment in IT sector. That is all kind of yielding result. In fact, one of my favorites being Zenza Tech, which is sitting with more than 100% profit already. So these are few things which are happening in the IT sector, especially the mid cap and small cap in the IT sector are doing amazingly well. Persistent system hits a brand new record high yesterday. So overall, I am telling you, the IT sector is kind of trying to revive itself. In fact, it is only the IT bigwigs like Infosys, TCS, HCL, which is kind of still lacking behind. But then looking forward to them catching up soon with the trend that is catching up in the IT sector. In fact, yesterday also, if you see, after Indian markets closed, the US markets actually were kind of bearish. I would not say bearish, but it was more of flat. In fact, they opened with after a long weekend. So they had a holiday for last Saturday, Sunday and Monday, and they opened yesterday, and that kind of triggered some volatility. But then US markets have closed almost flat, I would say. Nasdaq was strongest among them. So at this point of time, that looks like a good sign for IT sector. But then one important thing that we need to note is Geo Financial. Yes, so Geo Financial was hitting lower circuit initially. Now it started hitting the upper circuit, and interestingly, after all, it started even crossing the listing price. And now Indian government, SEBI is actually planning to get this thing delisted from Nifty 50. So tomorrow is the day where Geo Financial will be removed from Nifty 50. So that definitely is going to have some impact, and tomorrow being the first expiry, markets are going to be really volatile. So at this point of time, I would say it is better to kind of stay safe, because we really have to see how the impact of Geo Financial being removed from the Nifty 50 tomorrow is going to affect the market. But then of course markets are kind of trading cautious before the Federal Reserve member speaking in the weekend also in the US. Apart from that, there is expectation in the US that Federal Reserve may actually go for one more rate hike in September, and then kind of take a break as the expectation, because the data, which is economic data, which is coming out in the US, has not been that great. But then again, no, nothing can be commented at this point of time. But one thing for sure, that the rate hike season is somewhere close by seeing an end. So that is the expectation which most retailers are probably seeing, and that's exactly why everybody is kind of getting bullish in the market. But then, is this rally going to continue in the Indian stock market? At this point of time, I feel it has actually rallied enough. I don't see any reason for the markets have to rally much bigger from here. But then, this position that it is maintaining at this point of time is really good, because any good news from the market, from anything, can actually trigger the market higher and can get back to 20,000 levels. Now, will that happen this month? I'm not really sure of. I don't think so. It can happen in September. But of course, there are still chances that it can happen by the time next result season is out. So that's the expectation for the market at this point of time. So right now, if you see 19,600 can be seen as a good resistance. So 19,600 until 19,600 is broken, we can kind of expect the market to kind of stabilize around this existing range. But then if 19,600 is crossed today, then on the higher side can be really achieved faster. But then there will be very less chances that 19,600 can be broken today. I mean, not intraday basis, I'm talking on a close to close basis. So I would be looking at close to close basis where the market can go above 19,600. If that is happening, then I might, I'm talking about my trading. So I have some positions there. So basically I'm having 19,700, 19,750 basically on this call side, which is kind of, looking safe and good at this point of time. But if 19,600 is broken, then that can be kind of slightly risky. So that's something that's on the expectation on the positive side, but 90% chance it may not happen. Coming to the downside, of course, 19,250 to 300 was a very good support. After that, 19,400. So similarly, now at this point of time, we can look at 19,400 as a good support, and next level will be important support will be 250 to 300 level, 19,300 level. So these are important levels we watched for today. But then one very important thing today to be watched is today, for the first time, Bank Nifty is expiring today. It's not on Thursday. So all these years, Bank Nifty and Nifty used to expire on the same day on Thursday, but today onwards, Bank Nifty is expiring on every Wednesday for the first 3 weeks. So this is and the monthly expiry will still monthly expiry will still happen on Thursday, but the weekly expiry will happen on Wednesday. So that being the case, we need to see how that's going to happen in the market. I hope, I'm sure most of the members will be aware of it, but if there are some members who are not aware, they may look at taking some risky position today. That could be dangerous, and that could actually have a big impact on the market in terms of volatility. So let's see how the Bank Nifty expiry alone can drive the market today. That's something that would be on focus. Apart from that, if you look at the PMI data has come, which is at 60, which is kind of slightly lower than last month, which was 62%, but then that's okay, because anything above 50 is considered as a expansion. So that way, this is kind of completely okay. So next important thing is a focus on auto sector, because most auto sector stocks are doing really well. Naturally, because people are expecting December and Dasra season to be really good for auto sector. And in fact, deliveries to dealerships have actually been increased, and most of dealerships are having really good stock to actually handle the customer demand. So people are expecting sales to increase, and that's exactly why all auto stocks are doing good. In fact, Uno Minda was again close to all-time high yesterday. So these are things that's seen at the market at this point of time. Let us see how market is going to see its first Bank Nifty expiry on a Wednesday, and with that we will discuss more details tomorrow morning in the podcast. So meanwhile, if you have any questions related to the market or your investments, you can get that going on the discussion here. All you need to do is post in the comment section. We'll be answering on the next podcast. One very important announcement is that we are launching a very interesting set of videos in the upcoming weeks, where we will be discussing on how you can plan your financial investments and get financially free as soon as possible from your life. So that's for now. This is Srikanth Rajan signing off, but before we leave, do remember to press the like button if you love the content that we share, and do share the podcast with your friends and relatives to help them learn and invest together with us. See you. Have a great day.